Hello, Canada. Welcome on into Good Night, Qatar. Andy, Jordan, Gareth, Ollie with you. What in the world did we witness in these quarterfinal matchups here? How are you feeling? Did you take a break? Did you take a nap? Did you drink some water or tea? Whatever you needed to just catch your breath, because we were taking on a wild ride, gentlemen, and we do have to talk about Brazil and Croatia. Brazil was the favorite. Brazil was a team we talked about where, in their final group stage game when they already knew that they were through, making 9 changes and just really didn't look like they missed a beat. We were loving the vibe and the way they were scoring goals and giving us all the dance lessons. And then they can't break down Croatia. They can't. Mind you, they get a goal in extra time. Croatia ties it up. We're going to PKs. And what do you know? It's Croatia who moves on. Wheels, the favorite, or I should say 2 favorites. Argentina has moved on. But Brazil was the favorite of so many people. How did they go out in the quarters?
Pure capitulation. Good on Croatia. They play for extra time. 9 out of 10 games, and 5 out of the 10 games they played in the knockout round since 2008 have all gone to extra time, and 5 of them now to penalties. And guess what? They don't lose when it comes to penalties in World Cup. But this was complete capitulation by Brazil. This team was the better side in this game, the better side in this tournament, but so many things went against them. Chiche, who's now stepped down as head coach of Brazil, what is he thinking? When you look at the talent across his front 3, or 4, including Neymar, why are you so quick to make changes? Vinicius Jr., to me, has been one of the best players in this tournament. Quick hook for him. Quick hook for Richarlison. I know he wasn't that active on the ball, but he was a consistent threat at this tournament when his chances were presented. Rafinha, I know the final product wasn't there, but he was an absolute pest over the course of this tournament. Just because you have 5 substitutes to make doesn't mean that you have to make them all so quickly. I think he outcoached himself. And when Croatia pushed late, they had all their attacking players on the field. Brazil did not. A critical error by Fred. I see it all the time for Manchester United, pushing forward way too much, positionally not sound. He's loose on the ball, gives it away. It's 5v5. Croatia clinical in their only real chance of the game. And then in penalties, it's just a massive mistake not having your best shooter go first. Neymar had to go first. He did not end up scoring or taking a shot, much like Cristiano Ronaldo about 8 years ago. Same thing, 5th shooter. Stupid. Might not even get to you. Start strong, put the pressure on the other side. I can't believe such an amateur mistake was made by Brazil. And coming away from today, it's like a tale of 2 penalties. Messi goes first. He makes his, Argentina wins, Neymar doesn't get one, and they bow out of this competition. A massive upset, and I'll say the biggest upset possible that was on the cards for this quarterfinal round at the World Cup.
Ollie, did Brazil's manager panic?
I don't know about panic. I think he made some decisions that were questionable for sure. The goalkeeper prevented them from taking the lead in normal time. Then you see them score a brilliant goal in extra time to take the lead in the game. So at that point, I'm thinking this is a really stiff test passed by Brazil in some style, showing that they're not just a talented team, but a really resilient, patient, intelligent one as well. And then at halftime of extra time, something flips where you could kind of see it. Like Neymar was like hugging guys on the sideline. They looked like they thought the game was won because Croatia had so little threat up until that point. Chiche's substitutions in extra time, I did not understand. I thought Militao was having the game of his life against Perisic at right back. They took him off. Fred, I don't really understand bringing him on for Paquetá, who was very, very good as well. So that played a part in it for sure. But I thought there was also just a mental switch where they became loose all of a sudden in the game. Far too many men ahead of the ball in a situation where you're defending a 1-0 lead. Ridiculous to even be in that situation for the Croatia goal in the first place. So there was something up here, and that was what you always worry about with Brazil, is as much as they'd showed that they could handle that side of the game, I think, for the 105 minutes up until the second half of extra time, it then seemed to fall apart, and they made some real schoolboy errors to ultimately cost themselves a place at the World Cup.
We saw the reactions of the fans. I mean, to say that they have a passion for football in that country is a complete understatement. But here's the thing, Jordan, they've now lost in the quarterfinal in 4 of their last 5 tournaments. What did you make of that game?
It was an emotional game, to say the least. I said uh-oh when Neymar in the 105th minute, the halftime of the extra time, was high-fiving all his players. It looked like a basketball scene. right? You're coming out like you just hit a 3 and like there's a timeout and everything's good. And I was like, there's still 15, 20 minutes left to play in this game. Now, kudos to Brazil because they came out and did well. I wouldn't say parked the bus, but defended well. But when Fred took off, I was calling him back. I felt Brazilian. I wanted to call my mom and dad. I'm like, do I have Brazilian heritage somewhere down the line? I was like, what are you doing?
Where are you going? Yes.
Where are you going? Like, protect the lead. You're pressing a guy 20 yards from his goal in the corner. Protect the lead. The game is done if you just sit and stay there. Chite's subs were questionable, but also I want to use the word impatient because some days when your strikers aren't on it right away, there was a slow start from Brazil. See the game out. Maybe subs in the 75th, 80th minute. Okay, but you're taking the guys out too early. It's almost like you were just playing to the 90th. Like you have to expect and you have to respect a Croatian team that will just give it their all to the end. So that stood out to me as like Wheels brought it up earlier in the show, Andy. It's just like when you have your foot on another team's neck, you do not let up and let them breathe. You crush them. And this point of the game, when it was 1-0, that doesn't mean go and score another goal. That means hold on for dear life and manage the game. There were moments when Brazil got fouled and they had guys playing in the corner and they were kind of time wasting. That was perfect. But Fred taking off in the last play of the game or last 5 minutes of the game, it is insane to me at that level. Like that is to protect what you have and go to the next round with that 1-goal lead.
Well, Croatia obviously has something about them here, right? They're an older, experienced team. They have a ton of patience. We even saw that against Canada. This is a team that's very difficult to break down, which is why their fans, until that whistle goes, they're with them to the end, and they were rewarded. Here are the scenes with the Croatian fans celebrating because they did not get a shot on target until the 117th minute. So how did they pull off this upset, Jordan? Because I try to explain to, a lot of casual fans, this is sometimes the reason they give, I don't want to watch, because how does a team who doesn't get a shot on net over 100 minutes into a game go on and win?
Loss.
But explain the chess match, explain the tactics and the beauty of what Croatia did to pull off the win.
I'll say that it was not attractive, but it was effective. And I think for the real football watchers, people that love like watching 90 minutes or 120 minutes of football, what Croatia did really well, they did a couple things well, but the thing that they did really well is they took the sting out of the game in many moments. And what I mean by that is when Brazil was feeling confident and maybe this was a time to push and get a goal, Modric, everyone with an itch, they came and said, you know what, let me just knock the ball a bit. Let's just possess it. Let's keep it in the middle third. We do not have to score. We don't have to get in their box. We just have to get them annoyed and tired. And they broke them down. Now, when Brazil went up 1-0, I was like, okay, hey, Croatia, you're going to bomb forward. You're going to throw balls in the box. They said, no, we still have time. Let's knock it. Be patient. So I give them credit for sticking to their game plan and for not changing how they're going to play and being effective and getting a team like Brazil in penalty shootouts because they didn't deviate from the plan. They said, you know what? At a point, there's going to be a chink in the armor, and all we need is that one shot. And they took it.
Mm-hmm. What'd you make of it, Wheels?
The only time they deviated is they went down and they threw on all attacking players. Brozovic comes off. They put in attacking players and they took risk. And it's funny, you mentioned all the players whose last name ended with itch. I mean, they're two top players for me. They don't. Vardiol was outstanding, probably the best defender in this tournament. Yeah. And Sosa at left back, he was absolutely dynamite. Throw in Juranovic, that was the only kind of air of contention that I'm not sure it's being made into a big of enough thing. How he clearly handled the ball inside the area. I still am not sure how that wasn't a Brazil pen, because the game could have been settled in the 90. Neymar steps up, buries a pen. Did I miss something there? Like, what did I miss? How is that not a penalty? How didn't that go to VAR? Because his arm was extended in a natural position. It was a long ball played, so he had plenty of time to have body control. I know he didn't mean to do it, but I think that's irrelevant in making that decision. But this is what Croatia does. They drop their center midfield so deep in between in between the two center backs. They control possession. They knocked around the ball really well, I thought, and took the sting out of the game at times when they had to. And I know they don't have household names in attack, but they'll beat you down. They're physical. They're demanding. They're good when they press at times as well. I just think that this Croatia side is a pain in the ass to play against. And based upon what's happened over the course of their history, just all these games going to extra time, they're battle tested. They're tried, tested, and true, and they don't mind going the extra mile. Just quickly on Brazil, they have now lost each and every one of their last 6 knockout matches against European nations in the World Cup. Dating back to the last time that they beat a European side in a knockout round was Germany 2-0 in the 2002 World Cup to win it. Like, they haven't won a knockout round against a European side for 20 years when they won the World Cup. That's a ridiculous statistic.
Ollie?
Croatia, for me, might be the mentally the strongest side of this tournament. I think that really is where their magic is. Like, they make no mistakes. The goal Brazil scored is as good a goal as you'll see at a World Cup to finally break them down. Awesome. They know in moments, because they have such a good midfield in particular, they can cool the game down, right? Just keep the ball for a little while, take the heat out of the game. And so it becomes like a real test of your patience over, you can't say 90 minutes because it's usually 120 minutes, right? Are you going to keep your discipline? Are you going to stick to your game plan, not start to make rash decisions and go away from how you've intended to go into the game? And I thought Brazil, for 105 minutes did that really well. But then they just lost their grip a little bit. And Croatia, when you do that, they punish you, whether it's late in a game, whether it's a penalty shootout. They are mentally incredibly resilient for the entire duration of the game.
I will also say, guys and Spinderella, that Luka Modric today at 37 years old, the first half that he had, also just the game that he had, exceptional. Ridiculous. I'm going to continue, because I'm an older player, I'm going to continue to stand up for everyone who's 30 plus. He's 37 and bossed the midfield today. Like, it was exceptional. My son was on my lap, and I was just making sure that he was looking like, hey, watch someone take over a game. Like, this is how you do it. He's pressing, he's dynamic. And you look at the game against Japan, and you're just like, is he falling off? Does he have the legs? And he comes out today and says, man, I'm the best player. One of the oldest, but I'm the best player on the pitch.
It's a perfectly balanced midfield, and he doesn't have to do all the work because Kovacic, like, the guy's motor is unbelievable. Yeah. And Brozovic just hangs, right? So it's actually a really good setup for him to play in as well. Not taking anything away from him, just an incredible player.
Agreed. The three.
He's a true champion, one of the most underrated players in his generation. He's won a Ballon d'Or, but absolutely underrated. Croatia, this is not a fluke anymore, people. This team continues to win on the international stage. I think that, they might be buried a little bit when it comes to the Spains, the Germanys, the Italys, the Frances, the top teams in European football. Croatia is right there.
Well, they're also just a small country. But, I mean, they're doing incredible things here. So they move on to the semifinals. They will be facing Argentina, gentlemen. When we come back, we're going to be talking that Argentina-Netherlands game. Now, this had everything. This was a soccer match and boxing match mixed into one. Let's talk that game next. Welcome back into Good Night Qatar. We were treated to another doozy in the second quarterfinal matchup of the day. It was Netherlands taking on Argentina. I don't know, guys. I lost count. I think it was 15 yellows. Players were getting yellows. People on the bench were getting yellows. This one had goals. It was 2-2. Netherlands with an incredible tying goal in the 101st minute to send this one into extra times. It ultimately goes into penalty kicks. And I put this out there. Okay, guys, enough is enough. Start giving the goalkeepers love, for crying out loud at this World Cup. You can say that was a crappy shot. No, they're making incredible saves. You know what else I'm noticing here? Goalkeeper connoisseur. You know how they can't go off their line? Keep an eye on their technique. I'm noticing a lot of them are going just that 1 foot into their area so they can push off. Yeah, so at least they're push off, so they're not getting penalized for coming off their line because they're actually now starting further back. Anywho, I'm just saying the goalkeepers have been amazing. Argentina goes on and wins. Ollie, you lead us off in this conversation.
Well, first of all, honestly, I thought Martinez was kind of guessing and just guessed right
stop
twice.
it!
Not to take anything away from him. Two great saves. He made 2 great saves, so it is what it is.
How do I mute your mic? I don't know. Anyway.
I'm not sure there was massive science behind it. This was a crazy game, obviously. It was a game that for a long periods made sense. I thought it was 2 teams kind of matching up against each other. You could see Argentina change their formation, canceling each other out a bit. And the difference was Messi, right? Which made sense. It was logical. 2 evenly matched teams with 1 outstanding player who looked like he was essentially going to decide the game. And then it suddenly didn't make sense anymore because Netherlands brought on 2 just massive strikers in De Jong and Weghorst, started launching the ball at them and somehow get back in this game. And, all chaos breaks out. The free kick they took to equalize in the 101st minute, I think it was, is one of the more remarkable set pieces I've ever seen. Like to do that in that moment, to know what people are going to say if you try a little cute short free kick routine with the last chance you have in a World Cup quarterfinal and it doesn't come off, they would have been absolutely hammered for it. But it was brilliant. Credit to them and Louis van Gaal. I think he drew pretty much everything he could have out of this group. Ultimately, just wasn't enough in a penalty shootout.
Wheels?
Snooze fest for 80 minutes. Can I take my shot at a goalkeeper? I've never seen a 6'8" goalkeeper look so out of place in a penalty shootout. You're 6'8". Just wait.
There's a lot of body.
Sorry, Andy.
Not that I would ever know that problem.
Honestly, absolute snooze fest for 80 minutes until it came alive. Yeah. Then you simply couldn't take your eyes off it. I think that Netherlands for the first 80 minutes had or at least 75 had 1 attempt towards target. That's it. Nothing. Argentina was in complete control. Again, some of the changes that were made by Scaloni in the game, I'm just not sure if they were necessary. DePaul coming out and Romero coming.
Paredes was fired up.
Well, Paredes came in. Him and Otamendi, they can't be on the field together because they're completely irresponsible. That foul leading up to the free kick ticket, and you're right, Ollie, that is one of the best free kicks in World Cup history. It was so unorthodox. Weghorst actually scored a goal just like that. Someone savvily posted the video. He scored a goal just like it with Wolfsburg. He just posts up on a player. He's such a big target. And he just bossed Fernandez off it. I love the goal. I think the first Dutch goal, Martinez could have done better. Like he stepped to the side and the ball was right where he was standing. A little bit of a mess, and a soft penalty that gave Argentina the second. Did anyone have a problem with that penalty? Because I thought it was super soft.
Pen.
Pardon me?
Pen for me.
Pen, Jordan.
It's light, but it is. No, it's light, soft. But it hurts.
It file away to see you give it. And my heart went out to Molina because he scores the first goal of the game, and everyone's praising Messi for the ball that was sent through. It was a brilliant pass. But that was a difficult first touch on the ball by Molina because it was a little bit behind him. And you see so many strikers, not wing backs, trip over the ball and give it up. It was a great goal scored by Argentina. In the end, justice was served. The better team won here. Messi continues on this World Cup journey. Simply put, Argentina doesn't lose in penalty shootouts. The last time they won in a penalty shootout at the World Cup was against Netherlands back in 2014, and the Netherlands now have lost 8 of their 10 penalty shootouts that they've been in. So you just thought with Martinez, he's a really good goalkeeper when it comes to penalties, that it kind of skewed in their favor. And at the end of the day, scrappy and all, but the better team won. Montiel and Acuna being suspended for the next game against Croatia, that's going to be tough on Argentina. But Messi gets to live at least another day.
Ooh, Jordan, you love bully ball. That's all you keep talking about. Tell me you like this match.
Bully ball was nice. A bit of boxing too, right? I've seen guys ducking and weaving. I said, okay. No, Molina, I agree with you, Wheels. Molina to sort out his feet is, I'm tripping. Most people are tripping. For him to get the shot off quickly, exceptional. But I just want to take 30 seconds to talk about Lionel Messi. Again, the plus 30.
Take longer. Go ahead.
Not, this guy, game in and game out for Argentina, puts them on his back. They're playing better as a squad, but still in the big moments, you're looking at Messi for billions. We said that we can't really see Netherlands or Argentina scoring more than 2 goals for a game. But he comes with the assist. Again, I don't know when he looked to see where Molina was moving, but somehow he saw him. Slips in a pass and puts away a pen. and then scores another pen in the shootout. Like Messi, the way that he's playing, it looks like he's 25. Like the frequency, the way he's moving, the way he's just dictating games is something special. So I'm glad Argentina didn't go out today because my heart couldn't take Brazil going home and Messi being done. But what a semifinal we're looking forward to.
Yeah, and I mean there is. Yeah, sorry.
Just very, very quickly, that pass is from another world. Like when you watch Messi, particularly if you get a chance to watch him in a stadium, you notice this about him a bit more, I think, than comes through on TV, is he has this ability to just like hesitate a little bit, just to take the extra touch and let the game open up and let a different option open up. Like there's very few players in the world who have the sense of the game the way he does. It's incredible to watch. That pass didn't exist. He made it, right? And just unbelievable.
You are noticing calmness to his game at the World Cup. I mean, that also comes from experience when you've been to the amount of World Cups that he has, but you're noticing it, and it does seem to be permeating throughout the team. But Jordan, I'm going to come back to you because I wonder how much Argentina looked at that Brazil-Croatia game to take some pointers about perhaps how to approach Croatia. What are you expecting in that semifinal matchup?
I'm expecting Argentina to come out guns blazing. I think if they don't, it doesn't favor them. I think Croatia, as the game goes on, they relish the fact that it's still tied. They're like, take us to pens. We don't care. Take us to extra time. If you want to knock off this Croatia team, you have to start well and score early. And see what they come out with, because then they're forced to maybe throw a bit more forward. But if it's in the 60th minute and it's 1-1 or 0-0, Croatia's smiling. They might not look like it, but they're smiling. They know that history is on their side. They know that they have a great goalkeeper that's going to come up big for them. And they just have this never say a die attitude that is going to win. My dad called me and he said, man, the Croatians, they swallowed horseshoes. Like, they're so lucky. And I was like, how dare you, father? You've given me life, but you are absolutely wrong. They are meticulous. They're meticulous with what they do. They said, man, Brazil scored on them, and they said, it is fine. We still have time. There's only 15 minutes. They said, it's okay. So Argentina have to come out guns blazing. Everyone has to contribute for this to be a successful game for them.
But Wheels, can't they? I mean, can this catch up to them? And I know the narrative is, I mean, you can never tell the story of sport until you actually have the result, right? Because if it does go to pens, right, Jordan, and they go on and they win, the narrative is been there, done that, they don't panic. But if it ends up going the distance again and they lose, it's because they're exhausted. They've already gone to pens twice already. Like, if you're Croatia, what are you going to do?
I don't think it matters. It didn't matter in the semifinal of the last World Cup when they beat England in extra time after going to penalties twice in the last tournament. They've been here, done that before. And I think that their shape, I think this matchup suits them better against Argentina than it did Brazil. They were also in the same group in 2018 in the World Cup, and they smashed Argentina, by the way, 3-0 in that game in the group stage of last World Cup. They know what it's like to play Messi. They know that they need to drop deep. Where Brozovic and Kovacic play, they drop deep in the pockets that Messi likes to play, and they'll just keep him in front of him. I don't think anything about this Argentina side will scare Croatia one bit. I actually think that Croatia has a really good chance of making it back to a World Cup final. And wouldn't it be crazy if they go on and play France in a rematch of 2018? I actually can see that playing out. This Croatia side has only lost once in their last 21 games. They are for real, guys. Argentina needs to look out. I'm not sure if they're favorites going into this.
I'm with Mr. Wilson personally. Like, let's be honest, guys. Take nothing away from Croatia in that game, and they're an exceptional team. But Brazil had them beat.
You mean
105 minutes?
They didn't beat.
Okay,
Mr. Wilson Senior. Yeah.
Sir. All right.
Brazil dominated that game. They should have won the game. That was a disaster of Brazil's own making. Like, again, I don't want to take it too much away from Croatia, who have done brilliantly in 2018 and now again to get to this stage of the tournament. But that is a game Brazil should win. There's no excuses for them blowing that. They dominated the second half. They had more than enough chances. They eventually get their goal, and they blew it.
Well, here's my super stat for this one, and this might play into your argument and Mr. Wilson's argument as well. Croatia have only led for 46 minutes this entire World
against
Cup.
Canada.
Against Canada. And it took them until the 44th minute to take the lead, and they obviously went on to win that game. That's the only time that they've led this entire tournament, and they're going to a World Cup semifinal. Wild.
Yeah, it is crazy.
And
there
if
you go.
Lukaku could have finished his lunch, they would have been out. Oh, unbelievable.
Well, here you go. That's going to go December 13th, 2 p.m. Eastern. So that ice bath is going to be getting a workout by both teams so they can make sure that they're ready. And when we come back here on Good Night Qatar, as we always do, we will talk about the Canadian men, because now that the dust has settled, group stage being over, and seeing right now what Croatia has been able to do, as well as Morocco, because they're in the quarterfinals, let's reflect on the group and perhaps just how tough it really was for Canada. Welcome back in, everyone. We're still with you, Andy, Ollie, Jordan, and Gareth. The men are back home. They are back on Canadian soil, guys. They're going to be getting ready to report to camps for their pro teams for MLS. Some guys like Alistair Johnson, Ismail Kone, they're going off to their new teams. And now that we look back at their group, and you look at Croatia advancing to the semifinals, you look at Morocco making the quarterfinals for the first time, but looking really good. And I am really curious to see how they're going to do against Portugal. Does it make you kind of reflect on that group a little bit differently, Ollie, and just, does it bring to the forefront how much of an underdog Canada actually was?
Yeah, I think it has to a little bit. Like, I think Croatia, there was some stuff about them aging and so on, which I don't think was ever really accurate. I always thought that would be the most difficult game in the group for Canada. But I think the one that is surprising and does cause you to reassess Canada's group stage a little bit is Morocco, right? I know Canada didn't play them until the last game, and they're already out anyway. But there was a question about how good this Morocco team would be. Yes, there's talent there for them to potentially get out of the group, and certainly more on paper than Canada have, particularly in certain positions that are a weakness for Canada. But they also changed their coach a few months ago, and you never know how that's going to disrupt a team, whether it's going to be a good thing, a bad thing. It's clearly been an absolute masterstroke as far as Morocco are concerned. The new coach has done an outstanding job. They've been brilliantly organized. They deserve to be where they are in the tournament now. That's the one where I think you're probably changing your perspective a little bit from where it was before the tournament. Belgium were disappointing. Croatia, I think, were as good as everyone expected them to be. But you have to say that Morocco was a much more difficult third game than probably we anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Wheels, what about you? I feel like you were always kind of tooting that horn of don't count anyone out in this group, right? When it comes to Canada going up against them.
Yeah. You read a lot of articles about Canada's performance, and a lot of them were very negative about John Herdman and his tactics in games. I thought there was well over the top and was a little bit naive, to be honest with you. I thought Herdman did a good job, all things considered, from a tactical perspective. Like, Canada's strengths are to go out and press and push and play that fearless brand of football. They lost Eustachio. I've dealt with all the issues that they had coming into camp, which meant that, maybe being a little bit more tactically versatile just kind of wasn't in the cards. But this Morocco side, there's an article actually was written in a UK publication where Herdman was talking about playing Morocco, and he made the comment that, I heard a bunch of pundits say that Morocco was going to be our toughest game, and then I started scouting them, and I realized that wasn't the case. He claims that the back four plus the goalkeeper are as good as it gets in this tournament. Some of the top performers, and he knew that coming in, that there would be such a difficult team to even score a goal against. And the one factor, he said, that his team was rattled. The fact that there's 40,000 Moroccan fans with the Arab world and the African world all coming together to support Morocco. Mm-hmm. He said it was an environment that I don't think that we've ever played in. I certainly have never been part of. That's John Herdman saying that, not me. And I think that plays a real factor as well. So Morocco, with the circumstances surrounding it, man, that was a tough game. World-class right and left back as well. Belgium, Croatia, this was an exceptionally difficult group. I think we all agreed, guys, heading into the World Cup, that this was the toughest group that they played. And I just hope, I think there's a lot of people still learning what this Canadian team's about. There's a lot of people that are still trying to get educated in the way that the football world works. I think that some of the criticism of Herdman and company was way over the top and a little bit off-putting to me, because there's a lot to be proud of in the way that they kind of went out there and played such competitive football for as long as they did.
Yeah, and I know that, obviously you're very excited given the ride this team brought you on during qualification and doing things that they had never done before or hadn't done in years. But then I guess, Jordan, when you get to the World Cup, like we kept talking about, it's a different stage, manage the moment. But I wonder how many people like realized what they were saying. Do you know what I mean? Because until you experience it, and to your point, Wheels, like that Morocco game, when you're trying to communicate with players and like the reverberation, like it's in your chest and they can't hear you, even a guy who's standing 5 feet away from you. Like that is an environment where players, you can see where they just go, oh, this is what you mean about the World Cup stage being different. This is what you mean about learning how to manage the moment, right? And sometimes you can kind of freak out and panic. Experience only gets you past that type of stage, right? So I don't know, Jordan, when you look at that group and you do look at the teams that were in Canada's group, were all teams that have been to World Cups, at least within the 36 years too, right? Like it's been, since 1986 for Canada. Do you look at their performance a little differently now?
I think I look at it pretty much the same how we came into it, that Canada were ultra underdogs. Now they have talent, but Belgium underachieved this tournament. That should be a team that at least went to the round of 16. We said Morocco was a dark horse potentially in the group, but now I think we can all agree they're the dark horse in the tournament. And Croatia, you can't count them out. People are saying, oh, are they the worst quarterfinal team or eighth team to go be in the quarterfinals? Like, absolutely not. They don't play the most attractive football, but they know how they're going to play and they know what to do to get to that level. So I think in the long scheme of things, I think this was the best thing for Canada to play in a group that was just so demanding, that you're going into a Morocco game where you can't really even hear each other when you're saying certain things to a player that's 20 yards from you, but you're also just coming off of a game against Belgium, which you feel like you should have had something more out of. And then Croatia, where you got pumped a bit and knocked around, but that's what Canada needed. Now, I think it just echoes what we were saying, like the difficulty of that group and to play that competition. I don't think there was a harder group this World Cup. And you see it right now with Morocco and Croatia being some of the last teams standing. Like it was a tall order to ask of the boys, but I want to commend Herdman for playing the way that he did and putting in because Canada didn't have a team to sit back, to play passive, to park the bus. Like you have to go and play that type of football that's attractive, that's daring, that's brave. And that's what they did. Now, the question is, can they do that and be better at it? So when they're playing teams like this in the future, they can actually have that 1-2 punch to knock them out.
Yeah, this is what it's all about, right? Get to the World Cup in 2022, get that experience, lay the groundwork for 2026. And guys, we all know Herdman maybe took a few days off, but he knows, in his words, I only have 3.5 years, right? So he's wanting to get to work here to make sure that this team is ready for 2026. When we come back, we're going to preview the next quarterfinal matchups that are coming up on the weekend. Morocco, speaking of, is taking on Portugal, and England is taking on France. Stay with us here on Good Night Qatar. Welcome back to the show. Here's a look at the 2 remaining quarterfinal games that will be happening on Saturday. Morocco will take on Portugal at 10 a.m. And then I feel like this is a heavyweight battle between England and France, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Cannot wait to see how that one will shake down, because you're going to have one team who believes it's coming home, who's going to get eliminated, so it ain't coming home. Or you're going to have the defending champion get knocked down, and it will not have a chance, France, to go on and defend its title. So, Ollie, I will begin with you. How are you expecting England to approach this? There's been a lot of talk.
Nervously.
Are they going 4 at the back? Are they going 3 center backs? Because everyone loves to critique Southgate and, the lineup he's going to put out there. So what are you speculating?
I think they'll stick with something similar to what they've been doing so far. Obviously, there's going to have to be tweaks to deal with the kind of threats that France pose. But I just don't. I think it would be a mistake to go to a back 5. I think if you go to a back 5, the wing back, particularly on the right hand side against Mbappe, is just going to be stuck on the edge of his own area all game. You end up very deep, and you end up with something like the European Championship final, where England just couldn't get up the pitch nearly enough after they took the lead in that game. So I'm hoping that they're bold, they're aggressive. There's going to be risk with that. Obviously, going up against a player like Kylian Mbappe, I do think Kyle Walker is is a pretty good matchup and has had success against him in the past in Champions League games. He's not his fitness hasn't been brilliant this season, so he may not be in the best place compared to previous years to go up against a player like Mbappe. But if there is someone you would feel could take him on 1v1, I think Walker would be fairly high up that list as right backs go. So I'm hoping they continue to be positive. I think they have enough, particularly in midfields, with the way Jude Bellingham is playing to cause France some problems. And I think that should be the attitude, really.
How are you thinking, Jordan, that England should approach this?
I'm thinking they're sacrificing a luxury player and they're playing with 3 in the back.
Me too.
Which 3? I mean, Wheels put me on this, and I thought about it for the past 48 hours, and I was like, yeah, you're sacrificing a luxury player. And probably my boy Saka's coming off, and you're playing with the 3 in the back. Now, what does that 3 look like? Is it Stones, Dyer, Maguire? Like, is it Walker, Stones, Maguire? Like, what do you want to do? Because also, too, maybe I'm speaking from personal experience with coaches that have coached me. They just said in a big game, you don't want to change too much. You don't want to have 3 subs. You know, if you can make 1 sub that is a big difference, then let that be one. So maybe what that might look like is just putting on Trippier as a wing back. But then, basically, as Ollie said, he's just going to be staying back and keeping an eye on Mbappe. I think that just the 3 might have them being a bit more dynamic and having a bit more to their game. And I think in a game where you need to just win, sacrificing a luxury player might be the way to go. But again, I'm so glad I'm talking to you guys, and I'm not Gareth Southgate, and I don't have these big decisions to make.
Might not be Saka. It might be Jordan Henderson, the more I think about this. But I think you play Kyle Walker on the right side of the 3. He's played there before. Bring on Trippier. But the reason why I think I might sacrifice the central midfielder, a couple things. Griezmann plays a role in the midfield, but he's not a typical center midfielder. So they really play with 2 in Tchouameni and Rabiot. I think you can, 2v2. I think you're okay there. I think that where France might be a little bit weak, Hernandez loves to bomb down that left side from the left back position. Koundé is more stay at home, difficult to beat. That's going to be a tough matchup for Phil Foden or anyone attacking down that left. I do think that when that space is created by Hernandez going up, that's an area where England needs to focus on. So whether it's Saka playing forward, I personally would put Marcus Rashford in that area, allow him to have the pace to kind of exploit that area. I think it could be a little bit of a chess game, but the way that Southgate rolls, I think that he will play a little bit more conservative, knowing that limiting Mbappe in that French attack is paramount for them to have any chance in this game.
Speaking of Kylian Mbappe, this is what France manager Didier Deschamps had to say. Kylian is in a position to make the difference. Even in the last match where he didn't have the best game and didn't show his top form compared to previous games, he was still decisive. We have other players who can also be dangerous, and that prevents us from being over-dependent on Kylian. But Kylian's Kylian, and he always will be and have that capacity to make the difference at any moment in a match. Jordan, he already has 5 goals. He's already passed Thierry Henry when it comes to World Cup goals for France. Henry had 6 or has 6, not like they go away. But Mbappe has 7 with the potential to just keep extending that. So how do you contain a guy like that, Jordan?
I think the operative word there is contain, because I don't think you can really stop him. I think he's always going to have some moments and a bit of magic. But contain him is probably the best word to use. Now, my playing days of playing in the middle or playing 6 in Denmark, I remember right backs would basically say, yo, when I'm being run at, come and help me. Like, you sometimes have to dart over and just double down and make someone play negative. So I guess simply what I would say is cause Mbappe to play negative. Let someone else hurt you. Now, the problem with that for England is that the other players that France have that could hurt you are very good as well. So it's like, you got to pick your poison. Do you want to nullify Mbappe and put 2 on him and have a midfielder come over and leave Griezmann free, or have Giroud just split you in the box? Or, hey, let's get a switch out to Dembele and let him run at you. It's not the greatest. So it's just finding the balance. But I guess in a simple terms, I'll just say have him play negative. But that's a very tall order to ask.
Wheels, are you just praying? What are you doing?
Well, I find it funny that Deschamps is trying to play down Mbappe's influence. Of France's last 7 goals at the World Cup, Mbappe has 5 of them and has 2 assists. So he's been involved in the last 7 goals that they've scored. So Okay, I guess. I'm with Jordan. You need to double team him. If you're going to beat France, you cannot allow Mbappe to beat you. Force someone else to do it. That's why this Walker-Mbappe matchup is so highly hyped, because, and I think it's rightfully so. Walker's just coming back from an injury. He's not even fully fit. So it's going to be a huge task for Walker and company to try to contain him.
I think you've got to gamble to a certain extent, though. Like we saw that a bit in the Brazil-Croatia game,
the
where
gambler?
he's going to have to become one.
On.
Like we saw it a bit in the Brazil-Croatia game today, where Juranovic was up against Vinicius Jr., obviously a very difficult matchup. And Vinicius did look like for long stretches of the first half, in particular, Brazil's most dangerous player. But Juranovic was also not afraid to go forwards, and he was the threat for Croatia, because when you are playing against a player like that, as dangerous as they are, they're not going to track back. So Mbappe is not going to follow Kyle Walker or Trippier or whoever it is when they go forward. So there has to be an element of risk taking there as well, I think, in a matchup like that, which is why I think they'll stick with 4. But we'll see. It could be completely off there.
Deschamps not going to take Mbappe off, unlike Chiche and Vinicius. So.
No. Let's take a look at the final quarterfinal game, or I should say the first one that's going to go, but that'll be Morocco and Portugal. This is what Morocco's manager had to say. Nobody expected us to see us in the last 16 or the quarterfinals. And we have another match to get us even further into the history books. And we're 100% ready to rise to the challenge. We do have respect for Portugal, and they're playing well. They have good strikers. But hey, also know we are also a good team. And it will be a good match. And the little details will be decisive. This truly, Wheels, is offense versus defense. You know, you look at the amount of goals that Portugal has been scoring, 12 goals through 4 matches. Morocco has conceded once through 4 matches. Canada scored. So, I mean, who comes out on top? I mean,
well, yeah, Morocco.
Offense.
Again, I'm going to feel like I'm repeating myself from yesterday, but the status of Saiss and their other center back, Agard. Really, has there been any further detail on that? Because I think Saiss has a better chance to go than Agard. If they lose one of them, look out. And I'll say this again, Morocco is woeful from an attacking perspective. And the Portuguese shape and their natural tendencies under Fernando Santos to be secure defensively, I don't think it'll be a worry. Morocco, the fewest goals, the lowest expected goals, the fewest shots on target, the fewer touches inside the opposition box with 41. That's 5 fewer than Mbappe, by the way. And the lowest percentage, just 32.3% of the final 8 teams. Like, all of these numbers are miserable from an attacking perspective. So they need that home crowd and something special to keep this one close for me.
Oh, man. And if they play strong defensively, Jordan, are we seeing another penalty shootout? My word, what are you expecting?
I don't know if they have the legs for all that. Like, I think when I'm looking at, I was comparing Croatia and Morocco. I was saying Croatia looked comfortable in something going 120 minutes and then to take you into pens. But like Morocco, especially in the last match, is almost like desperation defending. Now, I applaud it because it does get you results. But to replicate that time and time again for, I would say, a relatively young team and doing that, it's difficult. Croatia, that's like their staple. Like they don't mind grinding and letting that be their outcome. But Morocco, I don't know if that's their in their DNA. So we'll see tomorrow in terms of the legs that they have to go the distance. But it's hard when you're playing against this Portugal side, because I feel like if you absorb and you absorb and you absorb, at a point, Portugal can pop 2-3 by you. Like, I think this is going to be their toughest competition yet. And this is also coming off of Morocco's hardest, most demanding game that they just played 4 days ago. Like, that plays on your body. There's no way you're telling me that you're feeling confident and ready mentally and physically to go and battle and not score for another 120 minutes. Like, that's a tall order to ask of any team, especially this Moroccan side.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if Morocco can do to Portugal what they did to Spain. Portugal are just much more varied in attack. I think if you leave space in behind like they did against Spain, they'll take it, right? They have the pace to push you. If you leave space between the lines, they've got the players, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, to punish you in those areas as well. It's Spain, I think, are a much more stubborn team. They want to play one way, want to beat you one way. I don't see that with Portugal. So you've got to try and play what Portugal's weaknesses are. And to me, they're not watertight defensively. I think you can get at them if you have the right kind of threats. If you're able to go on the counter-attack, you can maybe ask a few questions of them. But I agree that it's going to be a massive ask for Morocco to come through another match like this.
After Saturday, gentlemen, we will have our Final Four. Looking forward to that. But we can't say a complete good night, Qatar, unless we play a little game in our final segment. And we're going to do just that coming up next. It's Fill in the Blank. And now with Brazil out, I'll give a little sneak peek to one of the questions. Who's the new favorite to win the World Cup? Let's play Fill in the Blank next. All right, it's a little fill in the blank here on Good Night Qatar, and we are going to begin with Croatia. Jordan, I'm going to start with you. Croatia's win is the biggest quarterfinal upset since?
I did some digging. I said 0-2 when Korea Republic beat Spain in the quarterfinals 5-3 in penalties.
Okay,
you're sticking with that. I like it. Wheels?
Yeah. See, I don't think it's that much of an upset since, I don't know, 2018. I just don't think that this was a massive upset.
Brazil's the favorite to win.
I know, but just doubting Croatia the way we have, I'll go with Jordan and go South Korea in 2002, but it was a home World Cup, so it was a different context as well. So I'll follow my man's lead.
Yeah, not going to lie, I did no digging, so I totally agree with Jordan.
Well done.
Can't do that question off the top of my head. Sorry.
That's a little bit of a tough one because we've seen some doozies in World Cups past. We even saw some in this one, but they were in the group stage. How about the star player that has been shining the brightest so far? Ollie, who has that been?
Today, my answer is Messi. He's been absolutely magnificent. Tomorrow, my answer might be Mbappe. I'm hoping not, but we'll see.
Jordo?
I gotta say Lionel Messi. He's carried his team on his back, and he's performed time and time again when they needed him. It's got to be him.
Calm.
By the way, my answer to the last question was actually Belgium beating Brazil in 2018. Very similar profile. So.
You think so?
That was an upset in 2018 as well.
Brazil are much better this time.
I'm with Jordan again. Lionel Messi is the overwhelming favorite to go on and win the Golden Ball. He's the biggest star in the game, with all due respect to Cristiano Ronaldo and Mbappe. But he is performing at a level I didn't expect he was going to be this good at this tournament.
Yeah, when you look at the star players, really Kylian Mbappe and Messi have been getting it done. Neymar's been injured. It's not his fault. England's looked good, but it's not like Harry Kane has been running away with it when you're looking at star players, right? So how do you not kind of – it's like head-to-head with Messi and
it's one of the good things about this World Cup. The stars have really performed at this World Cup.
For sure.
They've been excellent.
And listen, Ronaldo's also been entertaining, but I feel like it's kind of going south in a hurry here. To the point where Portugal moves on. Is he even – well, I know, but that –
Want to see Ronaldo-Messi World Cup final? Ronaldo on the bench?
I was about to say, but tell me that story. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I was literally having this conversation. I'm like, imagine if it's Argentina, Portugal, and Ronaldo starts on the bench. Or imagine if Portugal –
He'll be coaching again.
Yeah. I want the Ronaldo cam.
3-4-3.
Ronaldo cam on the screen.
Ollie, you're out of pocket for that.
If he doesn't play and they've won Euros 2016, and let's just say hypothetically they win World Cup without him, I don't know. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting too excited. I just have to get to this next fill in the blank. How about this, Wheels? Winner of England versus France will be. Just give me a prediction.
Will be France.
Ollie?
The winner will be not me, France.
Oh, that hurts. Jordan?
It's France, Andy.
The winner will be the viewers
Unanimous.
of this program tomorrow
Thanks,
night.
guys.
Tune in, get all these reactions. Either way, it's going to be great.
Yeah. All right. Final one. New favorite to win the World Cup is Wheels.
I'm going to stick with my team that I have from the outset, Argentina. I picked France, but they still got to get through England next round. Argentina.
I have to pick Argentina as well. I have to.
Ollie?
If you're going on like odds, it's got to be Argentina because they're in the semifinals. But I do think France is a better team, and maybe England as well, and Portugal.
Wow, France will be looking at
And Morocco. And Croatia.
Listen, do you want to just list everybody? What a defeatist attitude. Turn that frown upside down for tomorrow, Ollie. That's it for us here.
Stressed.
Come on, England.
Oliver Platt, Jordan Wilson, Gareth Wheeler. You have been watching Good Night Qatar. We already know two of the teams moving on to the semifinals of Croatia and Argentina going up against each other. And then we will find out on the weekend who will be joining them in the semifinal. Remember, it's France versus England, followed by Morocco, Portugal.